Greetings again, and as we do reflect on that 1-0 victory over Nottingham Forest that sent us into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, this episode belongs to one unsung hero, Sofyan Amrabat. My name is Webb, and let's get into it. Now, Sofyan Amrabat has been a subject of scrutiny because not so many people have been exactly convinced by his performances since he joined Manchester United on loan from Fiorentina. And well, I'm one of those who have been a bit, critical of him, not feeling like he has been good enough really to put on the United jersey. But boy, hasn't he had moments where he has outdone himself. I honestly feel this could simply have been his best game in a United jersey, or probably one of his best games in a United jersey. First of all, I've been saying it here consistently. I love it when he plays on the left. He's a little better than most of the guys who come out there to deputize the natural left backs we have. And yes, whereas his better performance probably could have come in the second stanza when he was required to come in now in the middle, add to the midfield, because I think the second half, for the most part of it, Erik Ten Hag resorted to a back three. I feel like Amrabat, one thing for me that stood out for me is his heart and him putting in the hard yards and working hard. And for me, that is a little bit of the difference you need at times from a very talented good player and a player who deserves to play for Man United. You can be so talented, but you don't have the heart and work rate to play for Man United. Amrabat, I feel, for all the games actually he has played for Manchester United, whenever he has been called upon, never mind how many minutes, he tries to put in the hard work. He is not going to look like your most gifted player. That's not his style. That's not him. But he works hard. He was winning aerial duels. He was playing very good diagonal passes. I saw in the first half how he was picking up uh, Anthony from the other end, just straight across the pitch. I felt that was impressive. He was not afraid to come and be cut inside, even when he was coming in from the left and be involved in play. He did understand, I think, the instructions of Erik Ten Hag, and you understand why Erik Ten Hag kept pointing to some of these players. They sort of understand his instructions, and I felt like Amrabat really did extremely well. And I love the fact that all over social media, people are praising him and giving him the praise he deserves. He was hugging his mom at the end of the game. Honestly, he felt himself as well. And of course, it all makes sense if you win, if you get the W. But if he hadn't won, probably we would be here bashing him for the single 140 put wrong when he was almost conceding after being beaten for pace by Anthony Elanga sometime in the first half, only for Elanga to force a shot, but Andrew Nana was equal to the task and deflected it. But the reality is, this was a very good game from Sofyan Amrabat. He was passing. I think he had 97% passing accuracy. He was making, I think, good decisions. He looked improved really, and I want to give it up to him for me the good shift he put in generally. Now, of course, the question then would be, would he then survive? Would he be among those we keep in the summer pass? Then, and of course, the contract we've got with Amrabat is one that ends at the end of the season in the summer, and of course, United will then make a decision of whether to keep him beyond that, and we have to pay about 24 million euros, or we let him go. The reality is, given the times we are in now, that there is a change that is coming, we need new players in. It's highly likely that he might not perhaps have done enough to warrant a stay. But I mean, there are not so many good players who have got his ability. First of all, he's still young for a player, for a midfielder. He's about, I think, 26. That's not an old player. There's a lot he can improve on. If Erik Ten Hag is kept around, he might think, this player is not so expensive. We've got a bit of the money now. Maybe feel like he can give him value, maybe as a squad player. So the fact that he can play several roles, and you see, all teams need such players. Players who can play in defense, he can play in midfield. He can give you a bit of a different dimension. But the most important thing that he has is his work rate. So there could be debates about him. For me, if it's up to me, really, I would send him back to Fiorentina because I think he has not been really. He has not performed to my expectations, but I wouldn't be extremely shocked if Man United said, you know what, let's take a gamble and just pay this 24 million quid and keep the player, because that's not too much money for a midfielder who is 26 going 27. So that those will be the conversations that Ineos and Co will be having in the summer about Sofyan Amrabat? Well, again, it's still difficult because we do need, because think about our midfield, the positions where he plays mostly in the middle. We think about the midfield, we know that we need a serious replacement for Casemiro, and that should be our A signing. That and the backup striker, those should be our top signings, together with the defender. I think a right back and probably a left back. But those should be our A signing. But we also need another player in the midfield now. Who would be a second profile player, not top profile, not high caliber. Now Amrabat could be that. Now that's why I'm thinking there could be a chance for Sofyan Amrabat, because he has been showed good character first of all, that even when he has come off the bench, called upon, he has been able to play with his heart. So for me, it's a debatable decision for Amrabat to stay or not. It's a bit debatable, and if he's going to have performances like this, if Erik ten Hag is going to give him chances, more so now that we've got a couple of concerns. Bruno Fernandes was limping off, I think, out of Nottingham Forest after that game. He was seen limping. He forced his way into the game. With all these uncertainties around a couple of these players, Casemiro is in and out of the squad because of injuries. Scott McTominay is not really, very good player. He can get a couple of minutes if he keeps performing like that, even in training. He can get his time in the next couple of games. And you see, even against, for example, for me, if it were up to me against Manchester City, Amrabat would play. You know why? Because I'm thinking against Man City, to be able to tame Kevin De Bruyne, you need two holding midfielders. You need two proper holding midfielders. So you've got your Kobe Maino and obviously Casemiro, hoping that he's fit. So Amrabat will start anyway in the left back, probably against Man City. So again, he contributes to our physicality. He makes the game more physical. He makes the opponent have more to deal with. And for me, that's important, more so against a team like Man City. So there's no doubt, I think, when like I've been saying, Amrabat should be playing. Whether I should be starting on the left, well, you can debate that. I think on the left, he's the preferred third choice if there is no natural left back for me, and I think he continued to prove it. But also, Erik ten Hag can want to play back three and make him the schemer, then release a bit of Kobe and Casemiro, and then get a number 10. Pack the midfield if we are going to be able to tame this Manchester City side. We need to pack the midfield, and Amrabat is that extra body that can come in handy. So I think before we go, as we do head into the Man City game at Etihad, I think we've just had a revelation of another important player who we can make use of. And if we do make proper use of them, trust you me, Manchester United can hope for something, because we need hard workers. We will need all the hard workers we can get against Manchester City. Amrabat is proving to be that. Instead of trying to force players on the left, play a back three, then pack the midfield. Have Kobe Maino, Casemiro, and Amrabat all in that midfield. Then you make one of them, maybe Kobe Maino, a bit mobile to be able to add to the attack. Let Amrabat and Casemiro be the sitting ones. In any case, Casemiro, by his own style, he keeps adding to the attack. He keeps playing a bit box to box. So yes, pack the midfield, add Amrabat to that midfield, and trust you me, we can give Man City a bit of headache. But if we come again with the same approach, trust me, Man City will find spaces. The reality is, against Man City, our game plan should be to try and stop them and maybe get them on the counter. How do you stop Man City? By stopping Kevin De Bruyne. How do you stop Kevin De Bruyne? Amrabat is the one guy who will be man-marking him. You man-mark him and make it difficult for him to find spaces. That is, by giving him Amrabat, then let the other players do the extra work in the middle. That's Maino and Casemiro. My name is Webb, the United Hotspot. Subscribe.